But equally, you could add that the majority have gone on to run reasonably well since, so it's solid enough form. Tropical Dance showed ability in that. Be a surprise if she's good enough to win unless she's improved, but she has the advantage of experience over the others. Well, John, you were particularly impressed by one. He's our eye catcher.
Yeah, he's one of the few that had a little bit of size about him, Indian Bluff. And interesting enough, the other horse who was quite tall as well, a little bit of scope, was Double Diamond, Mark Johnston's horse. He caught Graham's eye on the post and must have been a very good mover if he was better than Alpine. Indian Bluff down in the ring, and the filly we've just been looking at of George Ward's Tropical Dance, she's easy to back. And another eye catcher. There he is, the red hot favourite for the next race, Celtic Swing, looking incredibly relaxed. The connections will be delighted with the way that he's taking proceedings in his stride. Perfect temperament. Anyway, let's have a look at those who will be striving to be in his position this time next year. And Indian Bluff, trained here in Newmarket by Colin Williams. The mount of Ray Cochrane by Indian Ridge. Tall horse, looked very fit, looked very well, and looked sharp too.
This horse cost 26,000 guineas as a yearling. He's from the family of Mrs. McCarty, who took the 1,000 guineas in 1977. John was talking about experience earlier on. Well, I thought as Double Diamond, number 2, went out onto the walkway, you could see almost how excited the horse was. His eyes were sort of taking everything in, his ears were darting backwards and forwards. New experience for him. The crowd, the bustle, the noise. And very often 2-year-olds don't do themselves justice because, just like a kid on his first day of school, they simply can't take it all in. It's too much. But Mark Johnson, after an unusually quiet spell, now back and in the main going really well, or his horses are. And a very impressive 2-year-old winner at Ascot earlier this week. If this one's anything like that, it'll go some here.
Indian Bluff remains the best backed horse in the race, 4-1 into 5-2, but now showing 11-4 against it. 4-1 bar, that's Double Diamond, the Tropical Dance, and 6 Oberon's Boy.
Lined up and raced the way, and a little bit slow to go on the extreme right was Indian Bluff. Lost a little bit at the start, also going very fast, so is Oberon's Boy. And Thorn, Tropical Dance, the 2 horses with racing experience, going well. Also showing prominently on the left in the red with the green half sleeves, that's Double Diamond. I wonder if he'll work wonders today. Indian Bluff tucked it off the pace. The white cap is Lucky Lionel, and the black and white hoop sleeves is Alpine. They're closely bunched, and 3 line up front with Tropical Dance just having the edge. Nearest to us is Oberon's Boy. Double Diamond on the left. Further left, the white cap Lucky Lionel. Then comes Indian Bluff, just being pushed along now as they begin the descent down towards the final furlong. And it's Double Diamond rousted into the lead, but Tropical Dance is going with it. Double Diamond and the Tropical Dance. Oberon's Boy isn't giving up the stand side. Here goes Lucky Lionel on the far side. They're inside the final furlong now. There's Lucky Lionel who lengthens and goes on. Lucky Lionel's going to take it from Tropical Dance and Oberon's Boy up towards the line. Lucky Lionel it is. Lucky Lionel, a photo second, a very close call. Oberon's Boy and Tropical Dance clear from Double Diamond Alpine. And the slow starting gamble of the race, Indian Bluff, trailed in 6th of the 6th. And so the result then of this, the Spring Maiden Stakes, a clear winner, Lucky Lionel in the colours of the Lucayan stud, trained by Richard Hannon and ridden by Kevin Darley. He's landed this Spring Maiden Stakes, and boy, wouldn't Kevin like to be going back into the winner's enclosure after the next. It's a very close call for second. Very close call for second indeed between, oh, that's one for the judge, isn't it? Nearest to us with the white sleeves, Oberon's Boy, and the white jacket, Tropical Dance, there, second and third. Leave that for the judge. Double Diamond didn't work wonders today, 4th. Richard Hannon's second 2-year-old winner from 19 races is this Lucky Lionel, the Mount Livermore son, bred by Richard and Mrs. Castor. Well done to them in the colours of the Lucayan stud. Kevin Darley quickened the game and came away from what could be quite a good field. Disappointing start, though, for the favourite Indian Bluff, who may have left the race at the stalls.
Well, we didn't bump into the ubiquitous Taffy Williams, Richard Hannon's travelling head lad, but Richard Hannon's 2-year-olds aren't noted for being absolutely spot on and tuned first time. They generally improve a lot for a run, and yet, although this fella's obviously going to improve, John, he seemed to know his job and did it just a shade cleverly.
He travelled really well throughout the race. Alpine was beaten a long way from home, so was the early favourite Indian Bluff, made no showing at all. And Kevin Darley really cool on this horse. I was just keeping him going hands in heels, just looking across, and probably could see that he had Double Diamond, Tropical Dance and Oberon's Boy all within his grasp here. They're only about 100 yards from the post, and he's just said, right, go on, old son. Just made him lengthen his stride at this position, and he's gone back and gone past them in, well, matter of a couple of dozen strides, very impressively. As Jim said, most of Richard's horses have improved for a run. I should think that'll be the case with this one, and he's one to put in the notebooks.
Lucky Lionel, a colossal result for the bookmakers, and they need relief after the first two results. Tamura Barouge, they've got it with Lucky Lionel, returns 6-1. Fifth favourite of the 6 runners, though it did touch 7-1 in a couple of places. Very close in the photograph for second place between Tropical Dance, who went off at 4-1, and Oberon's Boy, the 13-2 outside of the party. Nearest to us in that photograph there is Tropical Dance. Oberon's Boy is on the far side at 13-2, so it looks as though Tropical Dance is runner-up with third Oberon's Boy. They send Indian Bluff off, the 11-4 favourite, but returning here, Kevin Darley on Lucky Lionel at 6-1. Will he be coming back in a similar position and even more ecstatic than he is now on Celtic Swing? Is this the start of at least a double today for Kevin Darley? He's got the first one up anyway, 6-1, Lucky Lionel.
Go, John,
Don't even start.
And the result from Haydock Park, this is the 2:45. Carl Llewellyn got the mare Gospel up inside the last quarter of a mile. First, number 5, Gospel, 11-2. Second, number 2, Major Bell at 7-2. And third, number 1, Lucky Blue at 6-1. Number 6, Lox Cavaig was the 11-8 favourite, 6 round.
And Oberon's Boy is the runner-up at 13-2, with Tropical Dance third at 4-1. So the outsiders fill first and second. 6 Lucky Lionel at 6-1. Oberon's Boy 13-2. The complete outsider is second. Tropical Dance third at 4-1. There's the photograph, very close indeed, but just on the outside. Oberon's Boy nodding out Tropical Dance. A great forecast if you've managed to land it.
Well, the applause, one presumes, will be polite. What could it be in 45 minutes or so for Kevin Darley, 34-year-old?
Right.
Preceded by John Reed, no stranger to classic success. Darrell Holland. And if at home, sporting crowd, you're wondering why the applause is a little muted, well, as Max told you, it was an outsider, not many are on.
Of the winning horse, 1 minute, 0.16 seconds. 1 minute, 0.16 seconds.
The photo finish is just about to be printed. Tight thing for second place, the horse on this side. Oberon's Boy just getting it to beat the filly on the far side. There's the full SP for Rawley.
And just to confirm that SP, first number 4, Lucky Lionel, 6-1. Second, number 5, Oberon's Boy at 13-2. Third, number 6, Tropical Dance at 4-1. Indian Bluff, number 3, was sent off, the 11-4 favourite, 6 round. And from Thirsk, this was the 250, quite an impressive winner here on her debut for number 1, Home Magic, the 9-4 joint favourite. Second was number 2, Lucky B at 5-1, and third, number 6, Fancy Clancy at 20-1. The other joint favourite was Marketeer Magic, number 3. A non-runner there was number 7, Black Desert. She was withdrawn after unshipping Michael Tebbert on the way to the start. 8 round.
The starters are over, and what a prelude for Kevin Darley, and the big dish is to come. The Madigan's 2,000 guineas. The horses will be in the paddock coming through when you come to rejoin us after the break.
Wonderful idea of yours, Atkins, to test the new luxury Astra CDX in the desert.
Yes, it was because of my idea for the air conditioning, you see.
How could I forget it?
And the CDJD. The MD loved that idea.
I'll bet she did. Oh, but Atkins, we're forgetting that other great idea of yours.
Oh? What?
Well, comparing the luxury of driving a CDX against a more basic form of transport.
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
Are you sure this is my idea, JD?
Oh, come, Atkins. Modesty, modesty.
Oh, sorry, JD. Oh, just a wee second. Wait a wee second. Oh.
Right. We're getting a new mower.
You could have the Quellcast Turbo 30 with its 850-watt motor, or, of course, the Flymo Hovervac Turbo Compact with its 4 different cutting heights.
You're meant to be helping me out of that shed.
Call this a shed? What you want is a 6 by 8 foot, fully tongue and grooved, machine timber with lockable door shed.
No, what I want is you out of there before I lock you in with the spiders.
For a whole catalogue of answers, Argos takes care of it.
Now, fast effective relief from acid indigestion comes in a new fresh-tasting flavour, new Aniseed Rennie. For on-the-spot relief.
When people started travelling more often, we introduced what was right for the times. When people wanted to carry less cash, we also offered what was right for the times. And today, when the world doesn't always revolve on your terms, American Express introduces a credit card that gives you the credit you deserve. The new American Express credit card rewards you with an interest rate you'll appreciate and no fee for the first year. To apply, call now on 0800 700 717. It's the right card for the times.
Le Carre, the supreme storyteller. His new masterpiece, Our Game, out now.
Is your motor insurance premium too high? The Prospero Direct Premium Watch system has already saved money for thousands of careful drivers. Those drivers who took out a policy saved on average 25%. That's equivalent to £73. Call Prospero Direct on 0800 74 75 76 to see how much you could save. Because our premium watch system now suggests that around 7 million other careful drivers could benefit from our lower premiums. Call Prospero Direct, free, on 0800 74 75 76 for a no-obligation quotation. We're waiting to take your call on 0800 74 75 76 now.
Introducing relief from mild to moderate arthritic pain at a stroke. Introducing Movalat. Help rub out pain. Rub on Movalat.
A glass of the unusual, sir?
What is it?
The metamorphosis of lager, sir. Enigma draft lager from Guinness. It began as a spark of inspiration in the mind of a genius.
Very smooth.
I have to go now. My giraffe is on fire.
It's a good job horses can't read the papers, or Celtic Swing would be a quaking wreck now. And he walks around calm as anything. At his head, his remarkable closest ally, day by day, Bob Mason, 62-year-old stable lad who led up Pheidippides to win the Gimcrack Stakes back in 1956. 40 years high up in racing, Bob, full of action, and Bob, believe it or not, got kicked by Celtic Swing. Cow kicked him on Tuesday so badly on the knee that he had to be taken to hospital. Many 18-year-olds would be still in hospital probably. And here's Bob, still bouncing strong. The horse he calls Joey. Come on, Joey, he shouts. That's Celtic Swing, and here's the news from the last race.
Yes, it's the tote returns, Bruff, on the 3 o'clock. Win number 4, £5.80. Places 4, £2.30. 5, £2.20. The dual forecast, £19.80, and the CSF, £37.42, 6 round. And from Hereford, the 250, won there by Height of Fun, his second Win over course and distance, and a favourite too. First, number 2, Height of Fun, 2-to-1 favourite. Second, number 3, Pamplin at 130. And third, number 1, Well-Known Character at 9-4. 5 ran.
25 minutes to go to the 2,000 guineas, and just relaxing on the weighing room steps here is John Reid, who shortly will be going out to ride Painters Row. Now, we heard this morning that the favourites, if there's no pace, is going to make it. John, how do you see the race going?
Well, that's fine. He's going to make the run, and that will suit everybody well, I think.
It'll suit you, certainly, won't it?
Yes, I mean, I would like to have a lead, and so would most of the field by the looks of things. So if he goes in front, well, they'll have to go and get him, won't they?
But the beauty of being in front is that you can stay out of trouble.
Well, the beauty, yeah, that's one thing, but then you have to make the running.
Yes.
I mean, that's not easy up here. It's a stairy track, and it's a long way to go up there on your own in the middle of the track. Ideally, you'd be wanting to lead anyway, but like he says, they think they're going to stay the trip well and want further, and there's no point in making it a slow run race.
What about your tactics? I know you don't want to give anything away, but obviously you want to ensure a fast pace because you will stay. Yes,
I'll be quite happy. I mean, although in the Craven they didn't go that fast, and I took it up sort of 3 down, but I mean, I'm not worried really. I'm quite happy just to follow them along for the first half of the race and then see what happens from there.
Now, we all think that Celtic Swing is going to be right there with a furlong to go, but he is, we possibly think, just worried a little bit that somebody might just come and do it. Is that how you and the fellow jockeys think?
Well, we're hoping we can get close enough to do him, because I mean, obviously when you watch him last year, when he does accelerate, he can really quicken, and he's a horse, he never looks like he's doing anything, but he seems to run away from you. So let's hope he's close enough in the dip so we can have a crack at him.
Painters Row, I know he's a right character at home. Does he do any characteristics like this on the racecourse? What's he like?
He's all right once you get on his back. He's always been difficult to get on in the mornings, and he can be a little difficult in the afternoons as well. I mean, hopefully he won't be too uptight here today and I can get on him all right. But once you're on his back, he's a lovely ride. He's as good as gold, and he's a real battler, and he's a great horse to ride.
And the ground today, from your view?
The ground's very fast, but I think this horse will handle it okay. He's won on soft, but he's also won on the top, so it's about the same as it was for the Craven. I don't think it'll do him any damage.
And the hype surrounding this horse, final question, has the hype reached the weighing room, the jockey's room? What's it like in there at the moment?
Well, I mean, the hype reaches one person, and that's the jockey who rides the favourite. Yeah. I mean, it takes the pressure off everybody else, but no, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of hype about this horse, but you know, he's only a racehorse. Horses get beat.
We'll soon find out. John Reid, thank you.
Thank you.
Painters Row, John Reid's horse won the Craven Stakes, and 10 Craven Stakes winners have come on to land the 2,000 guineas. 20-1 early on in the offices this morning. It's now a 14-1 chance here on the course, but all the even money, the tips on 11-10 on and the 6-5 on Celtic Swing has gone. Now 5-4 on Celtic Swing with 7-2 against Pennycamp. But many people believe that Celtic Swing is going to prove an historic horse and could well win the Triple Crown. Of course, that will be the Derby and the St. Leger's, only around about 7-1 chance to land all 3 at the moment. Now remember, if you're backing him to win the 2,000 guineas in the Derby, you can't double the prices up as you can a normal double. Bookmakers give you special odds. But I'll let you know here what the prices are to win now, at this moment, the Vodafone Derby. Celtic Swing is top price 9-4. That's with Corals. Hills and Ladbrokes go only 2-1 against Celtic Swing. If it ran away with the 2,000 guineas, what price would it be for the Vodafone Derby? Pennycamp is now top price 11-2 to win the Derby. If it won the guineas, it would almost certainly be favourite for Epsom. And the other Derby entry, Painters Row, is 16-1 to win the Derby. And the Filly Moon Shell, who is the 6-1 third favourite for the Madigan's 1,000 guineas tomorrow, is 25-1 to win the Derby. But if you want to back them, Celtic Swing to win the Derby and the guineas, it's only 3-1. The odds aren't multiplied, 9-4 and 4-5, and Pennycamp is 11-2. You can't double that up at 7-2 and 11-2.
The truth will out very soon. It'll take less than 100 seconds to find out, and one goes with John Reid. Racehorses do get beat. He's only a racehorse. We're all dreaming he can be something extra than that. And the truth is, we'll find out when the stalls open and they have to run. Let's have the runners and riders for this, the 1995, the Madigan's 2,000 guineas.
And significantly, the stalls are placed on the stand side. So Bari, number 1, drawn 1, is the rail runner at 14 to 1 under Willie Carson. Celtic Swing is fairly wide at 7, the 5 to 4 on favourite Kevin Darley. Chilly Billy is next door to him in 6 at 25 to 1, Kieran Fallon. Diffident, wearing a white cap, Michael Kinane rides at 11 to 2. Green Perfume is drawn 10, 40 to 1 with Richard Quinn. Nuamis is number 6, drawn 5, 33 to 1 with Richard Hills in a black cap. Painter's Row at 9 is 14 to 1 with John Reed. Now out wide at 11, drawn 11, Pennycamp, the 7 to 2 chance with Thierry Janet. Pipe Major is ridden by Jason Weaver, 40 to 1 for this year's 2,000 guineas. And Pipe Major is drawn 8. Silka Blanca is drawn 2, the rank outsider at 150 to 1, Richard Hughes. And another 100 to 1 chance is drawn 3, that's Zeb with Tony Ives at 100 to 1. That's the lineup for the 2,000 guineas.
John Franken's been watching these horses as they come into the paddock, and after the sort of prelude of the Craven Stakes and all that shivering and other classic trials, the good thing is we come to the real thing now, and we judge them on the day, don't we?
Well, judging them, trying to be impartial about it. Celtic Swing, as we saw him just walk into the pre-parade ring just before the last race, he's taken everything in his stride, just got a little bit warm between his back legs. Really does look the part. If you took all the number cloths off of them, he'd be certainly one on your short list.
Just to go and try to crab him a little bit, perhaps long, just a fraction.
Oh, I'm not sure. I tell you, he's a very good-looking horse. I mean, he looks more as though he's going to appreciate a step up in distance. But no, you'd be really nitpicking if you tried to crab him.
And certainly he's keen enough in the races at Stalls Open, but he's been very calm in all his preliminaries, considering the camera's been stuck up his nose.
As Kevin Darley said, he's an absolute gentleman to ride. You know, he said you can do anything you like with him. He settles in, although he's looked a little bit keen. Some horses, I think, look keener than they actually are, and he said, you know, you can do just whatever you want with him. He's got a very good mouth, beautifully mannered horse.
And the horse that got closest to him, Bari, now he is a very handsome horse.
Yeah, it's the first time that I've actually seen him close up, Bari. He's got a lot to like about him. He's open to a bit of improvement. You know, he's lacked a little bit of experience. Again, he strikes me very much. He's in the same line as Painter Row. There's 4 or 5 walking around this paddock at the moment that you'd have to say are going to appreciate the step up in distance. And again, he'd be one of them. Pennycamp, certainly Painter's Row. The 2 that stand out look as though they might just remain very good at around a mile are Green Perfume and also Diffident, tiny little thing, built like a little sprinter.
Chilly Billy, I mean, didn't count his race last time. He had 1 or 2 races that didn't count.
Yeah, it was first down into the ring, and even walking round on his own, he's not an impressive type of horse. Having said that, I mean, he put in an incredible performance up at York in the Jim Crack. He pulled much too hard for his own good here last time, and I think even if he was running in the next race in the sprint, he'd probably do exactly the same. Looked as though he'd just got himself wound up. I think they'll be just looking to try and get him switched off this afternoon, and hoping that, or Kieran Fallon will be hoping that he'll be able to just get him relaxed at some stage so that he's got something left at the end. But he'll be doing well to get him relaxed the way he's been walking around.
And Diffident was interesting to look at. I mean, he really is very small. He can't be 15 hand hardly.
No, I mean, I put him down as a negative last time because he was so small. But if anything, he looks like he's filled out. He's very squat. I mean, he really is a little sprinter, this horse. And he couldn't look better. Looks remarkably well in his coat. And he's taken everything better than any other horse. If you have a look round, they're all just quite understandably just getting a little bit sweaty between their back legs. Not him. He's taken everything. He's going around playing with his tongue just now, just flicking his, I think he's still doing it just now.
And Michael Kinane can, in a sense, can sit and wait. He doesn't sort of have to worry too much.
Well, he can, but I hope he doesn't wait for too long. I don't think, you know, that you want to be hanging around thinking, well, I wonder if this horse is going to get the trip. I think you ought to be riding him to say, yeah, he's going to get the mile. And if you come back in and say, no, he didn't, well, that's one thing. But if you come back in and say, God, yeah, he did, but we left it too late, then, you know, that's another.
The coal runner, Green Perfume, who was behind Pennycamp last year in the Dewhurst.
Yeah, nothing looks better than him. He's done remarkably well. I think probably if I was giving a prize away, it'd be just between Green Perfume and Diffident. The two of them look particularly well, and this horse, he's just got a little bit more condition. You know, he really does look the part. He's just a slightly bigger version of Diffident, really squarely made, and you know, just lacks a little bit of experience, maybe.
And talking about lack of experience, again, a lot of these hardly run at all. Noamis has only run twice, number 6 there. And I know that a lot of the Dunlop team actually thought he was better than Bari, but then he disappointed them here and said, well, he's actually chosen Bari, but it's clearly he's got ability, this animal.
Yeah, it's lack of experience. You see, they're not going to hang around here today. There's 2 or 3 going to be wanting to be up there. They were racing downhill, which, you know, would be, you know, fairly strange to this horse, and I just think it's asking a lot. If he can be there good enough to stay there close enough to be in the shake-up, then John Dunlop would be delighted with him.
And the jockeys coming out, Willie Carson and Richard Hills in the Sheikh Hamdan colours, Kieran Fallon and Chilly Billy Silks. Willie, of course, in those colours, won with Nashwan at a glorious day in '89. And his first 2,000 guineas winner on high top, way back. Painter's Row, I must say, when he came to in the stables early this morning, John, he was clearly quite a monkey. And John Reed was telling us he's difficult to get on, but he looked good enough on the track.
He's tall and he's very tough. I mean, I'm just wondering whether he's going to be quick enough here. They're going to go a very good gallop. And if he's good enough to be there at the finish, then, you know, you'd have to put him on a short list for the Derby, because he is a tall individual and looks nailed on for, you know, vast improvement once he starts tackling a 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles. He's a different shape altogether to anything else in this field. He's probably 3 or 4 inches taller, much rangier, and probably eventually, you know, a horse who's going to continue to improve.
Pennycamp, the other unbeaten horse here, who, I must say, judging him not on this early warm-up race, but in the Gimcraft, in the Dewhurst last year, what was nice about him was the way he quickened at the end.
Well, he's done particularly well. I just felt that he looked a little bit weak. I mean, he'd had a hard race in France. He'd come here, and I just think that, you know, he's had that winter. He's just strengthened up throughout, you know, throughout the winter months. And he can't have done any more than win. You know, people have been saying, oh, well, he hasn't beaten much, but, you know, you can only win. A little bit more size about him than Diffident. He's not dissimilar, funny enough, to Green Perfume.
Well, horse perhaps his Pipe Major. There's always hopeful lines, and the Pipe Major, they're perhaps whistling in the darker fraction.
Well,
but he won last time.
Yeah, he won last time. He had a fairly rigorous campaign last year. He's a tall horse. Again, you'd expect him to have strengthened up throughout the winter. Midland won it last year, and you know, there's 2 or 3 horses like this. I mean, it's going to be tough. He's having his first run of the season, but he looks plenty fit enough to do himself justice, and he's not going to be any sort of 66 to 1 shot, I can assure you of that.
And Mick Shannon runs Silka Blanca, says the horse is well, he's going to have a shot. Again, got a bit to find on the book.
Yeah, he's tough. He's got plenty to find on the book, but he's as tough as old boots, and he's taken everything in his stride, and he looks as muscled up as any of them.
The only one we haven't seen is Zeb, who comes here off a victory, but again, strictly on the last year's form. He's the main feature he could do is do some pace early on.
Yeah, Brian McMahon has, you know, he's had his fair share of decent horses through his yard. He won the Lincoln earlier on this year with Roving Minstrel, and this is obviously the best 2-year-old he's had through his hands for some time. Got plenty of size about him, and again, you know, he's a little bit like Pipe Major. I won't be surprised to see 3 or 4 finish behind him.
Those are the runners, and as I say, at the moment, the evidence is on not very many runs, and we start rethinking after the race is over. We've said how they looked. How do they rate in the ring? Rolling.
And Celtic Swing is back to 5 to 4 on, having visited